Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, September 21st, 2017. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, nature realms guardians, and any presences from above who are already sharing in the work of creating deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to doing. Somebody is asking, what about me? And I think they consider themselves to be a well-intentioned person who hasn't begun to help yet, but they intend to help, or they want to help, or they believe they want to help.
Yes.
Yes. Friend, many, many, many billions with a B presences are like you. You're not standing out from the crowd by wanting to help or intending to help someday. Those who are actually doing something, already doing something, are invited to join this community that is already doing something. They're arguing.
Yes, it's true.
But the law of attraction would support us. We're already doing something. If you are also already doing something, then definitely join us. If not, go find somebody else who is a match for you, who, like you, wants to do something someday, and the two of you can plan something together. We're into the action stage. We're long past the planning stage. They're asking, when did we enter the action stage? It depends how you define this and to whom you are speaking.
That is true.
If you are speaking about the ground zero host life, which we do not believe you are speaking about, to whom are you speaking? They might be speaking to the nature realm's guardian kings.
That's true.
And they're telling stories of antiquity. The nature realm's guardian kings are telling stories of our ancestors fought in the something wars. It's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah, that's
the
true.
Clone
The Clone
Wars.
They're talking about the Clone Wars.
Yes. What do the Clone Wars represent? I'm sorry, we don't know what the Clone Wars represent. We don't get the metaphor.
No,
we'll have to research that. I think to the guardian kings we would say, while that is useful background information, it's what we ourselves are personally doing. And they're saying, oh, that's a much easier question to ask, to answer. That's a much interesting. It might be easier to ask and answer.
That's true.
What now, in order to create deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience? I can't imagine this discussion interdimensionally, regardless of how fascinating it is, would be what this situation actually calls for.
That's true.
Let's see if we can find that aid station of presences who are also working to evacuate the dead from the deeper, denser dimension. See if we can align with them. Again, we seem to have tilted to the left because the perception is they are off to the right, but we believe it's us. We are the ones who are being tumbled in the astrals.
That's true.
Align with them and begin to pump up dead children from even deeper levels, through us, not to us, through them, not to them, to even higher aid stations that I can now see lining up. But my perception is still that it's off to the side, and so I must not be on the correct life path. I must be standing on somebody else's life path.
That's what this feels like.
That's what this is. Let's see if we can find a life path that's aligned. So there we go.
There's one.
There we go. So that now we are directly underneath The aid station. Once we are there, here we are again.
Oh.
Interesting. Interesting. Now it seems as if that aid station is directly above the ground.
That's true.
And the other aid stations are as beads on a string moving up the sky chakras.
That's true.
Thank you. All right, let's pump up dead children and their environment straight up the Search for Truth Central Axis to the aid stations. Delivering as many as we're able to. Not only to the first station, but to the second station. The first aid station very quickly looks overwhelmed.
That's true.
Delivering them higher, higher, and saying to the electrons among the dead, can you lead the way? Are you willing to lead the way? Straight on up. They seem to be.
That's
Zap,
true.
zap, 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 going straight on up. And the photons and the quarks, can you also follow the electrons? Zoom. They go so easily.
That's true.
And now some neutrons are huffing along behind like the heavy-set friends.
Yes, that's true.
And everybody else seems to be lounging on litters, saying, why, help me, why, my problems are the worst.
That's true.
Interesting. I don't think it's actually true. Somebody asked, are their problems the worst? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think they're just, their attitudes aren't as good. Why do you
that's
ask?
True.
I think I want the solution to be easier than it actually is. I think that's why they're asking, they're wanting an easier solution.
Yes, that's true.
I do too, but
I do
all
too.
of the data that has accumulated in this multi-decade effort to manifest a divine plan shows that all the solutions that are left are excruciatingly difficult, and that the longer we put off taking action on these difficult solutions, the more difficult the solutions become.
That's true.
It's time to act, all of us, right now. It's go time, jump time, it's bingo time. They say, when did it begin to be go time? Well, in planet Earth dating, I know that it was about 2007 when Gabriel showed up and started saying, you have got, saying to the souls who were operating out of the Ground Zero host life at the time, which included Asha and others as well.
That's true.
Gabriel started saying, you've got to enlist others in this crusade of yours to manifest a divine plan. One person, no matter how talented and dedicated, can only do so much. Those were his precise words, because Asha put them on a poster, so to speak, and had them all over the inner world to use as motivation to do something that was very scary for her, which
That's
was
true.
try and figure out how to describe what it was she was doing and then teach other people how to do it.
That's true.
Why do you ask? Possibly this is it. I know this feeling of looking for the line, thinking I've got to be almost there. Surely
Yes.
the starting line is around here, when in reality the starting line was years ago. The starting line was years ago.
That's true.
But it's okay. The best time to have started was when the starting line came along, and the next best time is right now. Just start now. Start now. Start doing something to create deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience. Not creating worlds that work for exploitative, larger levels. And we can definitely see how just that is when we are relating to larger levels.
That's true.
And we can see how difficult that is when we are relating to smaller levels.
That's true.
Why do you ask? I'm making some reference. I wish I could get the quote. Now is the time for all good, and then they say men, to come to the aid of their country.
Yes, that's the phrase.
Now is the time for all good presences to come to the aid of, well, their country is really a tight definition, very narrow, and
That's
it usually
true.
means come to the aid of people like me living in a geographic region that is artificially delineated.
Yes, that's true.
And only people like me in this dimension, and that's way too tight. That doesn't work. That has created the disasters that we see unfolding around us. Why do you ask? Because I want it to be so.
Yes.
What now? In order to create deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience, I think we just continue pumping up the dead children and their environment straight up through all of these aid stations, trying to reach to ever higher aid stations. And once more we have that sensation of connecting to aid stations that aren't yet set up. They're just bringing in cots and bringing in tables and bringing in chairs. They're saying, we aren't ready for this. No, we know that, but isn't it good to know what to get ready for? Almost all of us have gotten ready for the wrong things.
That's true.
And presumably that's the same for you. Let's have some actual reality checks first before you go through a setup that you're going to need to adjust significantly. For example, those chairs, they're way too big. These are little people.
That's true.
Why do you ask? Let's just keep pumping up. Right to them, and then through them, even higher, higher. Somebody asks, why are we doing this? Well, in part we're doing it because it's wrong for dead children to not be able to get to heaven when they are trying to get to heaven. We think that's wrong and reprehensible. True. And another reason we're doing it is we share in the curiosity, the yearning to know whether or not there's light below.
That's true.
And the win-win-win seems to be to get the dead of the deeper, denser dimensions up and out, get this sluggish river of quicksand to flow up into the higher dimensions, creating a pathway that we can look down and maybe we can see whether or not there's light below. Those are the main reasons.
That's true.
Why do you ask? All right. They're not talking. They're not doing
very
anything.
Quiet.
Maybe we can tune to the pitch of the soul plan all up and down the search for truth's central axis. I would like to remember this trick of, rather than assuming we're on our own life path, assume that we have been pulled to someone else's life path, especially after an overnight where the guides are shrieking, do my person's work for them.
That's true.
We can assume that they have pulled us onto someone else's life path.
That's true.
And especially when it's obvious that we've gotten tilted, we can assume that we aren't on our life path, our own life path.
That's
assume
true.
that something has happened and we've gotten blown off course. And feel for the life path that's aligned with what we knew it was aligned with the day before.
Yes.
And see if we can pick up where we left off, see if it feels better. In this case, it does feel better.
That is true.
All right. What do we know? We notice there aren't any answers coming when we ask what to do.
That's true.
We're asking the big question of the soul assignment.
That's true.
And it's a substantial assignment. It's not a little assignment. But now, in order to create deeper, denser dimension worlds that work for all categories of deeper, denser dimension sentience. That might be the end. Let's just wrap it. And send it straight up for all who want justice to prevail, to the highest presence we can connect with right now, who really wants justice to prevail.